Caution.
Working with high voltage, especially in wet environments, is dangerous. Be sure to work under the guidance of a professional.
Well, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, no problem.
And let's just jump into it, right?
Okay, excellent.
So the teams that get started, they kind of have to think about what kind of shape a boat and how they want to approach the whole contest. Like, what are some of the options that you think teams should be considering?
So when it comes to hull selection, there's a few different things to think about. One of the sort of standout initial things would be whether it's a displacement hull or a planing hull. And I guess you could think of a planing hull as a displacement hull when it's going sub-planing speeds.
Sure.
But in any of the cases, the shape of the hull does have a significant impact, not just whether it's planing or displacement. So you could have a planing hull that has, let's say, a really deep V characteristic that makes it more the sea handling capabilities are greater. It can handle rougher conditions and things like that, but it may not necessarily, it may take more energy to push it along at the same speed that, let's say, a very flat bottom boat that sort of skims along would be able to get up to speed in the right conditions with less power. And so one of the things you have to think about initially is what is it that you want this boat to be able to do? And so when you look at the outline of what is PEP expecting, the 5-mile course, we have even though we don't have control over the weather, we know that it's not going to be out in the ocean. We know it's not, it's going to. So you've got certain assumptions about the level of rough weather that you would be expecting, and then plan for something that would work well in those cases.
Sure.
So with a displacement hull, you've got lower drag, but then you never have the advantage of getting up onto plane and sort of getting over that lump where you then have that greater speed and greater efficiency while planing. So if you're going to use a planing hull, make sure that you have the power that you need to get it planing, or else it's not going to give you the benefit of a planing hull. But if you're looking for something with the ultimate in efficiency, a displacement hull is still a viable option in that case.
Yeah, and I think for the man competition, we've separated out planing hull from displacement hull, and there certainly is a lot of overlap. So yeah, planing hull might end up being a displacement hull at a slow speed, and if that's how you've designed your craft, just let us know and we can talk through it. But I think for the unmanned craft, right, like the idea of getting up on plane, right, like is something that they definitely want to have as like a goal. With their much lighter weights, it ends up being a lot about weight distribution as anything else, because in general, the shapes are a little bit more simple. Is there anything like so if we're thinking about like an unmanned hull, 6 to 8 feet long, like what would be some of the design characteristics that would help them get up on plane?